Hi, this is Tom Painter, and welcome to Money Made Easy for Kids. Now, I've taught people all over the world about money. When I was very young, my dad taught me about money. I've had many mentors that have taught me about money throughout my lifetime. And the goal of this class today is to be able to help you have a system where you can teach those that you love about money. So this is really a financial playbook for kids to be able to play with money and understand it. Now, if you could only give your child one thing, money or knowledge, what would you give them? Now, most people would say that they would give them knowledge. Now, if we can take that knowledge and add experience, then you've got a winning combination. So our goal today is to be able to help you create a system where you can teach your kids about money and create an experience for them as well. Now, in order to be able to do that, you need to be able to get a couple of things to be able to build some banks so you can actually play with the money. It's helpful if you get some envelopes. They can be you need one large 8x10 envelope. Plus, you need 4 smaller envelopes where we can keep track of money that we make, that we give away, that we save and invest, and that we spend. Now, some people use jars as well, and this is a system that we've created that uses jars because there's basically a 5-step system that I'm going to show you to teach kids how to be able to track their money. So the first step is to be able to make money. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to be able to dump it all out on the table and then separate it. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is that we need to give some of it away. So we need to give some of it to charity or the church of your choice. We don't care where you give the money. We just ask that you give some of that money away. Now, step number 4 is to save and invest. Not only do we want to save money, but we want to start investing it as well. Now, my dad taught me about investing when I was 14 years of age. And you know, we didn't buy a lot of stocks and stuff like that, but he planted the idea in my head at a very young age. And so that's why that's so important. And then the last one, of course, is to be able to spend. So that's really the 5 steps. Now, you can use jars, you can use envelopes, anything that you want to be able to use, but the goal is to be able to, A, give them the knowledge, but B, more importantly, is to have the experience of them actually playing with money, because that's what the goal is here, is we want to play with the money so that we can have some fun with it. Now, if you do it this way and you do the envelopes, then I want you to get one big 8x10 envelope, and then I want you to get 4 smaller envelopes, and then I want you to write on them, make money, church and charity, save and invest, and spend. Now, after that, you can also do different things like using plastic envelopes as well. And so we have people that use envelopes that are plastic that you can use, or just regular plain number 10 envelopes. It doesn't matter how you do it, we just want to make sure that you do it, okay? Now, after you've named these, make money, charity, save, and invest, we're going to start teaching you about the system. Now, we like to play with the money. And so, actually, if you can go down to the bank and get some real money, then you're going to make this experience much funner to play with, because we really literally want to play with it. We're not trying to teach real high finance programs here. We're just trying to have some fun with it. So if you can, go down to the bank and get 50 $1 bills, and it'll be easy for you to be able to do the system from there. Now, we also have created a game where we have cards that have questions on one side and answers on the back side of that. And there'll be a system where you can download these and print these yourself if you wish to. That way you can play with games and have more fun with the system. Now, the last piece is kind of a certificate that you can use to remind you of what the 5 steps are. And then again, number 1 is to make money. Number 2 is to sort or separate your money. Number 3 is to give part of that to any church or charity of your choice. Number 4 is you need to save and invest. You need to water your money tree on a monthly basis. And then after you've done all of that, step number 5 is that you can spend the rest. Okay? So let's get started. So I want you to get out your spend envelope, and in this case, I'm going to be using the system that we've created, but you can use an envelope or anything else that you would like to be able to use. So as we pull out the spend one, we're going to come up with some ideas of things that you would like to spend money on. And so as you're brainstorming with your kids, have them come up with some things that they would like to spend money on. So you can print this little form out as well, and then where it has your name, write your child's name, and then the goal of how much that you have available to spend and the month. And then write down 4 things that you want to spend money on. Now, once you've done that, then we want you to put this information back into here and put it aside, and we'll come back to that in just a second. Now, the question we ask people is does money grow on trees? Now, people come up with all kinds of answers to that, but does money come on trees? Yes, it actually does grow on trees. Would you like to grow your own money tree? Now, what kind of seed would you use to grow a money tree? So think about it. If it's going to be a money tree, we need to plant a money seed. In this case, we were going to plant a penny. Now, if you didn't water your tree, would it grow? So what do you water your money tree with? We're going to water it with dollars. Okay? So if it's a money tree, we're going to plant a penny, we have to water it with dollars. So once we've planted our tree, we have to water it. Each month it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. It's going to take many years for this money tree to grow, till eventually you'll see that it gets to be very big. Now, would you like to see a money tree that has $1 million on it? That's what it looks like. So actually, it's just kind of fun, but your goal is to be able to have your money trees to be able to make you money. Everyone that you meet, all of your children, all of your nieces, nephews, you walk down the street, everyone that you see is going to make and spend $1 million in their lifetime. If you take a lifetime of an individual and take all the money that they've made and all the money that they've spent, they're going to make and spend $1 million over their lifetime. So all of you are going to manage $1 million. Now, many people are going to manage 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. If you have businesses, you're going to be managing millions and millions and millions of dollars. Millions of dollars will come in, $1 million will go out. And the goal is to be able to keep some of that and make your money trees grow with the excess money that you have. Now, you need to water your tree. Now, how many dollars do you water your tree with? Well, if the goal is to be able to have $1 million, then I'm going to show you actually a formula for that. Now, we try and teach people that as you make money, the second step is to separate it. The third step is to give some percentage of that money away. 5%, 10%, some number. Now, the fourth section, which is to save and invest, the goal is to put as much money into the save and invest as you possibly can. A great target would be 20%. Now, that's a big target for many people, but that's a nice big number to aim for. And then try to live off the 70%. But I'm going to show you a financial formula that of how much money you need to put away every month in order to have $1 million by the time you're age 65. So it depends on your age. So watch this. This is pretty cool. This is a picture of many of my nieces and nephews and some of my children. And I have 5 children. And as you can see, my mother and father had 10 children. And the 10 of us children have had 69 grand and great-grandchildren. And my dad taught me about money when I was very, very young. And we used to buy and sell stock together. And he taught me the value of money and how to be able to understand it and how to be able to track it. In fact, I'm going to show you something, some things from him. My father passed away last year. And when I was 14 years of age, he taught me some great, great lessons. I was actually helping him paint and scrape the old paint off a house that was next door to us. And I wasn't having much fun, and he could see that I wasn't having much fun. But I says, Dad, am I getting paid to do all this? And he said, no, son, get back to work. And he could see I was kind of disappointed with what he told me. And I says, Dad, are you sure I can't get paid for doing this? And he said, you know, son, someday the money from this rental home will have money to help put you through university and through college. Now, I wasn't that excited about college at that age. And he could see that. And then he said something that I'll never forget. He said, son, some people make so much money off of their small businesses, their investments in real estate, that they don't have a job. Their job is just to manage their investments. And my dad taught me that at a very young age. Now, not only did he teach all of his kids, but he showed us by example. And I'm going to show you an example of that. My first job that I had when I was 15, now I had jobs working in our family car dealership. You know, sweeping floors and stuff like that. But the first outside job I ever had was one where I was actually worked at a truck stop. And I remember getting my first check, and my dad wanted us to be able to keep track of the money that we made. And so as we would bring money in, we would put it on an index card, and this is the money that we made. And then as we had interest that was accrued to it, then it added on there too. So one of the things that he taught me was to be able to track your money. But more importantly, he wanted to be able to show that your money was making money. And in this case, there's my first $100 check from working at the truck stop. and the interest in that short amount of time was 38 cents. Now 38 cents isn't very much, but remember, this is the seeds that he taught us, and over my lifetime we have taken what they've taught us and we've just simply added zeros. Remember, all of your kids are going to make and spend over $1 million in their lifetime. Okay? Now this shows how much money you need to have put aside at a 10% rate of return, how much you need to have in order to have it to be $1 million. So you can see again, this is all my nieces and nephews, and it shows a different age and how much they would need to put aside each month in order for it to grow into $1 million by the time they're age 65. Now the good news is that they will have a chunk of money. The bad news is that $1 million probably won't be enough. But let's continue here. So now I want you to find your age, and this will tell you how many dollars you need to put away each month in order to have $1 million by the time you're age 65. So in this case, you can see a 7-year-old needs $26, a 4-year-old only needs $19. Now here are the steps to making money so you can grow your own money tree. So step number 1 is you need to make money. So we need to find ways to be able to make extra money to go into the top of the system. Now number 2 is that you need to separate your money. You need to separate it and figure out where you want your money to go. Now step number 3 is you need to give some away to your church or charity of your choice. We don't care where you give your money away, just give some of it away. Now step number 4 is you need to water your money tree. We need to save some money and we need to water your money tree. And then step number 5 is you get to spend the rest. Now one of the challenges most people have is that they make money and then they spend more than they bring in, or they use a credit card to be able to finance purchases, which can get you into great financial debt. So we want to avoid that. So let's talk about step number 1. And again, this is a system that we're going to use to be able to do this with kids, and you can teach this yourself. So we're going to get out our envelope, and then we're going to do some tracking with that. So let's get out our make money envelope. And you can see that the envelope works like a thermometer. Okay? And so we're going to write down with your kids all the different ways that they can make money. Okay? And so in this case, there's 4 that we're going to put 4 in there. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is write your name at the top, what month it is, and the different ways that you can make money. Now, we're going to use the $50 in cash or the $50 in play money so that you can all get the system down and understand how it works. So in this example, we're going to start making money in January, and then we're going to sort it, separate it, and then spend it in February. Okay? So our first job is to do some babysitting, and we're going to mark on our tracker that we made $10. So I want you to pull out $10 out of your account right there, and what we're going to do is we're going to mark on the tracker $10. So we've made $10. We're going to count out $10 because that's how much we received, and we're going to actually put that literally into our bank. Okay? Now let's say we do another job and we make another $10. Okay, we're going to count out another $10 and we're going to put that into our jar or into our envelope. And then we're going to go to our tracker and we're going to color it so we're up to $20. Okay? Now let's do another job. And let's say that we make another $5. So count out another $5, put it into our bank, and then take out the tracker and mark down another $5. So but this time we're at $25. Let's say that we do another job and we make another $10. Okay? So basically we're going to take and we're going to count the next $10. We're going to put that into our bank. And again, we want to keep adding and marking up our tracker so that it will show how much money that we've made. At this point, we're up to $35. Let's do another job and let's make another $10. And that all goes into our jar. And then we want to take out our tracker and mark up another $10 on our tracker. That puts us up to $45. Now our next job is we're going to make another $5. So we're going to use this as our example. There's our last $5. It goes in, and now on our tracker, we should have it marked up all the way up to the $50 mark. Okay, that's the one we're going to use in this example. So for the month, you made $50. Now the step number 2 is that we're going to separate our money, and we're going to decide where that money goes. Now this is what the world famous Warren Buffett does. His main job is to determine, once money comes in, where to put it. And that's what he is very, very good at. And so we're going to separate our money. So you can see we're going to take it out of our jars, out of our banks, we're going to put it out on the table, and we're going to play with it. Now these are some of my children. I have 5 children and 3 grandchildren. And our goal is to be able to teach them about money by playing with money. I have 2 special needs children, and so in order to teach them, we want to get very tactical and we want to have some fun by playing with it. So now step number 3 is we need to give some of it to the church or charity of your choice. We don't care where you give your money away. I've given away to about 36 different charities that I've been involved in my lifetime. Pick something that's very passionate for you and then jump in and help them make a difference in the world. Okay? Now, would you be willing to give part of your money away to those that need it for the church or charity of your choice? Now, most people will say yes. Very rarely have I ever had anybody that says no. So this is an example of a young man named J.J. Bright. And he gave 100 bicycles to the Salvation Army's Angel Tree. And he, with his parents, did some investing and did very well. And his parents taught him about money, but more importantly, they had him experience it, and he helped make that money. With the help of the people in his neighborhood and his group, they bought 100 bikes that they gave away in his town to kids that needed them. Now let's get out our charity envelope or our bank, our jar, and again we're going to pull that out. Now the question is, how much is 10% of $50? Well, there's 2 ways that you can really figure that out. You can sort it by simply putting them in groups of 10 and then taking 1 out of each of those 10. Or number 2, you can just simply knock off or cross off the last 0. So if you made $50, we're going to cross off the last 0, and so we're going to give away $5 to charity. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually take out $5 out of our make money that we had sorted, and it's going to go into here into the charity bank. And then from there, you can give it to the church or charity of your choice. Okay, now we also have a tracker in there that you can pull out and mark down each month how much money you're giving to charity. Now step 4 is to water our money tree. That's very important. So in this case, we're going to use the example of a 15-year-old that needs $58 a month. That's how much money that they need in order to have $1 million by the time they're age 65. Now again, I'm not so worried about the money. What I'm worried about is teaching them this, not giving them the knowledge and giving them an experience so that they can start doing this. Realistically, what you should be doing is putting away 15 to 20% of your income, if possible, and get as much of that money down into that saving and investing account as you possibly can. Okay, but in this example, we're going to use $58. Now, most kids feel like that's going to be a lot of money for them to water their money tree with. And so what we do is we ask the parents and the grandparents to be able to help them. So one of the things I'd like to say to you, and I've never had a parent or grandparent deny this, but if a child makes their money and they give some of it away and they save and invest, would you match that or help them be able to put some of it away? So in this example, we're going to go back to our, just an example. You can see that they would do half of it and you would do half of it. And that's one of the ways that we could get that money into the account. Okay. Now, if you don't save and invest, the parents are not going to match it. So don't expect the parents just to do this on their own. You need to be able to do this and then have someone match you if possible. But again, it's your responsibility. It's not your parents to be able to do this for you. Okay. Now, once we do that, we're going to put that into our save and our invest account. So we're going to take the money that we need and we're going to put it inside the save and invest account. Now, from there, it's crucial that we do a couple other steps. But right now, we're going to do that, and then we're going to have another tracker right there where we're going to record how much money goes into our save and invest account. And again, it doesn't matter how much money you make. The real goal is to find a way to get as much of that as possible into your long-term saving and investing, because we're going to grow a whole orchard of money trees, and we need to have extra money in there to be able to do that. Now, in this example, we needed $58. And so we had an agreement with our mentor, our parents, or our grandparents to match whatever we put into our long-term saving and investing. And in this case, we needed to do $29, and our parents matched that with another $29, which gives us the $58 per month. Okay? Now, you need to invest in yourself. I'm going to give you an example. This is an example of Ryan, and we're going to say that Ryan is 17 years of age. And he invests $70 a month with the help of his parents and his grandparents. And in this example, because we want to make it very simple and easy, he receives a 10% rate of return on your investing. Now, if you invested in the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in America, which are global companies, over a long period of time, that's what they've averaged. If you've invested with Warren Buffett in his company called Berkshire Hathaway, over a long period of time, you would get about a 10% rate of return. Some years it goes up, some years it goes down. I don't know when it's going to go up. I don't know when it's going to go down, but I know over a long period of time it's going to be greater, because as you go back to 20 years ago, stuff was less money 20 years ago than it is today, and it's going to be more in 20 years from now. But in this example, we're going to keep track of that in his save and invest account. Now, it's important that we do the savings, but it's more important that we actually get the money out and get it into our investing account. And again, we're going to put it into the S&P 500, or I'd really suggest after 40 years of investing or learning about investing, for most people, they should just put the money in the S&P 500, or I really do like putting it into Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett, because he's actually done better than the S&P 500. Okay, so here's the example of how it works, and you can see that we're putting that money at $70 a month in each month, and you can see how it's starting to grow, and it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and you can see that this is the chart. They call this a hockey stick, so this is the amount of money that you'll have at age 65. Okay, now as you look at this chart, you can see that at different age you'll need more money. So when you're younger, you don't need quite as much because you have a long time for your trees to grow. But if we wait until we're older, then you need a lot more money because you don't have nearly as much time for your trees to grow. For example, I'm 58 years of age. I'd need $8,200 a month in order to have $1 million by the time I have 65, which is a pretty good sized chunk of money. But if you go back to somebody who is 15 years of age, they only need $58 because they have a long time for their trees to grow. And again, I'm not sure if the stock's going to go up or down this year. I just know that in 10 years, 20 years from now, it's going to be a lot more money than it is today. Okay. Now, setting up your investment account. Here's the 5 steps. You make money, you sort or separate your money, you give some to charity, save and invest, and spend the rest. So what's crucial is to put this on autopilot investing. So we're going to take some of that money and we're going to have it come right out of your account and go right into your checking account. And it could be your parents or your grandparents, but we want to have some of that money go automatically into that account. And then the real key is to make this on autopilot, is to have it automatically taken out of that account and put it into long-term mutual funds. And again, for most people, I would say it would be the S&P 500. You can do Berkshire Hathaway, you can do whatever you want. But again, the key is to have this done automatically. Make the decision one time, set it up automatically so that it gets taken right out of that account and put into these mutual funds on a monthly basis. And I've been doing that with my kids for many, many years. And my father and my mother have 69 grand and great-grandchildren. And they've set up investment accounts for all of their kids. And each month, that investment account gets a little bit bigger. And so they did some amazing things. Not only did they teach us about money, but they've also given us the experience about money. All right, now step number 5 is to spend the rest. So in this case, if we started with $50, we gave some of it away, we saved and invested, and then we have a little bit of money left. So in this example, we're just going to do $20 because that will be a lot easier to be able to teach everybody how to do it. So in this example, we're going to say that you had $20 left. And you'll notice that we have the tracker that you can use. Put it into an envelope, put it into a jar, it doesn't really matter. And in this example, we're going to take $20 out, and we're going to use that in our example. Now, as we spend the money, your thermometer goes the opposite direction. So in this case, let's say that you had money for the month and you had $20 to spend. So literally, in your spend account, you've got that $20 in there. And every time that you spend money, then your tracker is going the other direction. It's going to go down until you're out of money. So in this example, let's say that we're going to a movie, we're going to spend some money. So literally, we're going to take $5 out of that account, and more importantly, we're going to take our tracker and we're going to mark it down by 5. So that gives you a balance of how much money is left in your spend account. And let's say that we're going to spend some more money. We spend another $5. That puts us down a little bit more. We're going to spend another $5. We have $5 left. And then, of course, if we spend the last 5, then we're all out of money. So this is kind of an easy cash way to be able to keep track of your spending account. So we start with 20, and then as we spend it, it goes down. Now, what's interesting is that you will spend as much money as you have available to you for as much time as you have. So if you had $20 for the month, you'll figure out how to live on $20 as a kid. If you have $30, then you'll figure out you'll spend the 30. So that's why it's so crucial that we do the 5 steps. So you make it, you separate it, You put some of it away right from the get-go, get it into a different envelope or jar. We're going to save and invest, get that going, and then whatever's left, you will spend. And so that's kind of the way the system works. Okay, so that's really basically the 5 steps. Now, in addition to that, you can fill out the Money Made Easy certificate, which goes into those 5 steps. So you make it, you separate it, give to church and charity, water your money tree, and then after that, you're going to spend the rest. This has been Tom Painter. Thank you so much for joining with us. And again, this is our Money Made Easy system. Thanks again.